How's it going, guys? It's Tucker Tuitions here, and today we're going to be talking about indices. Now, before we start off going over the index laws, let's first recap what an index is. So, if I've got, let's say, 2 to the power of 4, the 2 represents the base of the number. That's what we're multiplying by itself. The power, which we call the index, tells us how many times we multiply the number by itself. So, for example, 2 to the power of 4 just means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now, in order to use the laws, we're going to have a look at the first one. So, if I've got base A, and I take it to the power of m and n and multiply together, I just add the indices. So let's say, for example, I've got 3 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 5. I multiply them together. That means that the 3 must stay the same, and I just do 2 plus 5. That's just 7. So 3 to the power of 7. Law number 2, if I divide it, then I take away the powers. So let's say if I've got 5 to the power of 7 divided by 5 to the power of 3. That means in the powers, I must do 7, take away 3. That gives me 4. So it's 5 to the power of 4. Law number 3. If I take any number to the power of m, and then I take that all to the power of n, then I just multiply the indices together like here. So let's take the number 8, for example. So if I've got that to the power of 3, and I want to multiply it by itself 4 times. So I just multiply the indices together. So 8 to the 3 times 4. That gives me 8 to the power of 12. Now, law number 4. If we've got two numbers of the same base and take them both to the power of n, then I take each one separately to the power of n. Let's take 2x, for example. I put it in the brackets, and I take it to the power of 3. That means this 2 here, I multiply by itself 3 times. And this x here, I multiply by itself 3 times. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And I can't simplify x cubed anymore. Let's have a look at some examples. So the first law, x to the 3 multiplied by x to the 6. So I do the same. Are the bases the same? Yes. So I can use rule 1. So I can do 3 plus 6. That gives me 9. So x to the power of 9. If I have numbers next to it, then I first single dash your numbers, step 1, do 2 times 3. That gives me 6. If I double dash my powers, then x squared multiplied by x to the 7, I just add the powers. So x to the 2 plus 7, that gives me 6x to the power of 9. Now, if I look at division cases, I've got numbers here again. So I dash my numbers and double dash my x's. 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. X to the power of 8 divided by x to the 3 gives me x to the power of 5. Now this one here is written as a fraction. And if it's written as a fraction, that means that I've just got b to the 8 divided by b to the 3. And all I do is just take away the powers. What's 8 take away 3? It's 5. Now, what about ones where we've got two indices laws to deal with? I've got a bracket and I've got 3a to the 7. So I deal with the bracket first. A to the 5 to the 3, I just use law 3 here. So I just multiply the indices together. That gives me a to the power of 15. Then I multiply it by 3a to the 7. Now, questions that most students ask me is, what happens if we don't have a number here? Well, you can either just imagine that it's 1, or you could just put 1 there. 1 times 3 gives me 3. And then because I'm multiplying my 15 and my 7, so a to the 15 times a to the 7, I just add the indices again. So it's a to the 22. And likewise, if I divide, this time I've got a number inside this bracket. So I'm going to use law 4. So 3 to the power of 3 multiplied by a to the 2 to the 3. But a to the 2 to the 3 using law 3 is a to the 6. Which I also divide by 3a to the 7. 3 cubed is 27. So what I'm going to do first is also divide my numbers. 27 divided by 3 gives me 9. And then a to the 6 divided by a to the 7, I use law 2. 6 take away 7, that's minus 1. Now, pause the video, have a go at these ones yourselves, and then I'll go through how to do it. Okay, now let's go through the answers. So for A, x to the 6 times x to the 5, that is 6 plus 5 is 11. B, 5x squared multiplied by 10x to the 7, highlight the numbers, 5 times 10 is 50, x to the 2 to the power multiplied by x to the 7 gives me x to the 9. C, 12 take away 7 gives me 5, so it's b to the 5. D, 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. X to the 11 divided by x to the 8. So I do 11 take away 8. That gives me 3. And then for E and F, I do the same rules as I did. I first do the brackets and then I multiply. So underneath here, it's going to give me a to the 8 times 3a cubed. Again, if I've not got a number in front, just put a 1 there. 1 times 3 is 3. A to the 8 times a to the 3 is a to the 11. And then for F, 2 to the power of 3 is 8. A to the 4 to the 3 is a to the 12. I'm dividing it by 4a to the 7. 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. A to the 12 divided by a to the 7 is a to the 5. Okay, now let's look at what happens when we use it to expand brackets. So, what I'm going to do is the same as you would do in GCSE. I'm going to draw my multiply chains here. So first I'm going to do minus 5a times 10a. Minus 5 times 10 is minus 50. A times a gives me a squared. Now the second one. Minus 5 times minus 6 gives me plus 30. And because I've got an a multiplied just by 1, I just write a. Exactly the same here again. I'm going to multiply the first one. The only difference is I've just got y squared. So y squared times 3, I just put the 3 in front of the y squared. If I do the same again here, I've got no other number here. Just put a 1 here. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. Y to the 2 times y to the 3. Again, I'm going to use law 1. That's going to give me y to the power of 5. Now, I've got 3 things in the bracket, and I'm going to do exactly the same again. All of them using law 1. So first, 5x times 2x. 5 times 2 is 10. X times x is x squared. 5 times minus 6 is minus 30. X times x squared is x cubed. And then my final one here. 5x times 10, x cubed. 5 times 10 is 50. X times x to the power of 3 is x to the 4. And if you're wondering why it is that they go up in 1, and you can't see the number. X you just think is x to the 1, x to the 1 here. And then D, this is just an expand and simplify. So do the same again. 7 times 2x is 14x squared. 7 times 1 is plus 7x. When I deal with the minus 3, I'm just going to deal with it by itself. Minus 3 times 6x, that's minus 18x. Minus 3 times plus 1, that's minus 3. And then I just collect my terms up together. 14x squared, there's no other x squareds. Dash the x's, 7 take away 18 is minus 11x. And then minus 3 is just by itself. And that's all I need to do. So have a go at these ones yourself. Pause the video now, and then we'll go through how to do it. Okay, so let's go through A. Minus c times 10c, that gives me minus 10c squared. Then minus c times minus 3 is plus 3c. B, 3y squared times 9 is 27y squared. And then 3y squared times minus y cubed, that gives me minus 3y to the 5. C, 2x times 3x gives me 6x squared. 2x times minus 4x squared is minus 8x to the 3. And then 2x multiplied by 5x to the 3, that gives me 10. X times x to the 3 gives me x to the 4. And then the final one here, we just simplify it. 6x times 3x is 18x squared. 6x times 2 is 12x. Now I deal with the minus, so I just put a dash underneath it. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Minus 2 times 8 is minus 16. 18x squared. 12x, take away 2x, gives me plus 10x. And then minus 16. So there we go. That's the first part of index laws done. Many thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like and subscribe for many more to come if you are still doing the A-level course. And yeah, I'll calculate later. Bye.